Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we'll try to understand what is this fuss all about the ricin poison and why has it been in news recently. Now, ricin is a chemical compound derived from castor beans, right? So I've attached this image for your references. Now, the notes that I will be using in this session, in case if you want to download them, you can go to this particular Telegram channel, ATS Live. And while you're downloading the channel in this particular channel, please do not forget to subscribe to it also. So let us start our today's video by understanding why have we picked up the ricin poison as a subject of our today's discussion. Now, earlier this week, the Gujarat Anti-Terrorist Squad, also this is abbreviated as ATS, right? So this now you know where the word ATS Live comes from. So the Gujarat Anti-Terrorist Squad, they arrested 3 men, including a doctor who has a Chinese medical degree. And you know what these people were trying to do? They were trying to produce a lethal chemical compound, ricin. And as I told you, ricin is a chemical compound derived from castor beans. So this is actually very lethal and it can also be multiplied and replicated in n number of times. You know why? What is the reason behind it? It is because first of all, it is very easy to harness ricin compound from the castor beans, and also you need very low amount of dose to kill a person. So this adds to the lethality of the compound. So that is why we are going to understand how this ricin poison is derived from castor beans, what are the symptoms that a person might show after poisoning with ricin, and what can the medical professionals do. And before ending this video, we'll also try to understand historical use of this compound, how they have been trying to weaponize this kind of a compound. Now, first of all, let us understand what is this ricin compound all about. Now, ricin basically is a protein that has been extracted from castor beans, and castor beans are industrially grown in n number of countries to produce what? To produce castor oil. And these are grown in countries like India, Brazil, and China. Now, to extract castor oil, first of all, once you beat these castor beans, you can extract as much as 30 to 60% from it in form of castor oil. And after extraction of castor oil, there is certain amount of residue which is left. So 1 to 5% of this residual solid which you get after extraction of castor oil, this is where you get ricin compound from. And this plant is widely available. So it is not very difficult for a person who wants or who has the knowledge to make ricin to extract this from castor seeds. Now that is why it is very lethal. How lethal? Let me tell you how lethal. Now, even 1 milligram, you can understand how small that amount is. 1 milligram of ricin, if it is mixed in food, it is enough to kill a human being. Now, how this ricin compound actually is lethal for humans, let me help you understand it. Now, once this poison is absorbed in the body, it attaches itself to ribosomes. Now, ribosomes are the tiny structures which are found in our bodies, and it is responsible for reading the genetic code, and more importantly, it is also responsible for synthesizing of proteins. So once this ricin poison, it binds itself with ribosomes, it stops the protein from synthesizing in the cells. And depending upon the amount of absorption in the human body, this poison has the potential to create multi-organ failure in a human body, and it can even result into death. So this is why it is very lethal. First of all, it is lethal in terms of the small quantities that it can be used, and it is lethal because it attaches to the ribosomes, which is itself a protein, right? Now, what happens if you ingest this ricin poison? Now, ingesting this ricin, it can lead to symptoms like severe vomiting and diarrhea, which sometimes can even be bloody. Now, also patients or persons who have been injected or who have ingested this ricin poison, they would show low blood pressures. So this can lead to emergence of symptoms like hallucination, person might get a seizure, multi-organ failure, and death that we have already understood. Now, if this is injected into the bloodstream, it can create several organ systems to stop working, which is a symptom of organ failure. And if someone inhales the aerosol of ricin, it may even experience difficulties in breathing, coughing, and might feel tightness in their chest. So this is how the important symptoms are shown once a person is ingested or injected with ricin. Now, in case, God forbid, if in case somebody is injected or infested with ricin, what can be done by the healthcare professionals? Now, you need to understand, first of all, adding to the lethality of the poison is the fact that there is no antidote or specific treatment available for patients who have been facing ricin poison. So what the healthcare professionals can do, that they can manage or treat your symptoms, right? And one of the challenges that the healthcare professionals or the doctors for that matter face is that doctors don't usually suspect a person to be infested with ricin. So therefore, this is the biggest problem, that is identification of this poisoning is the biggest challenge that the healthcare professional face. But if someone after ingesting with this ricin comes to the healthcare center early enough, then doctors can alleviate these symptoms by creating artificial vomiting, which can even remove the poison out of the body. And sometimes the stomach may also needs to be washed in order to remove this poison out of your system. So this is what can be done by the healthcare professional. The key thing you need to understand, if someone faces ricin, you have to make sure to go to a hospital, a healthcare center as soon as possible and inform them that yes, ricin is the reason for this symptom. Now, has this poison ever been used previously? The answer is yes. Now, because this poison has very high toxicity and it is readily available, ricin has been a immense or has proven to be an immense interest for military subjects. Now, it was studied as a chemical agent towards the end of World War I, especially by the United States, but the scientists who were trying to weaponize this compound or this lethal compound, they faced multiple challenges. First challenge they faced was they were facing difficulties when it came to making it stable in different temperatures. And the second problem they were facing, that they wanted to make aerosols out of ricin. Now, to make or to weaponize any weapon, you need to have this capability that this compound might spread in a wider area. So you try to gasify that compound, and this process is called as aerosolification, where this compound would spread in form of fine mist. So this was the challenges that was faced by experts after the World War I when they were trying to weaponize this weapon. Okay. Now, another instance was limited weaponization actually took place after the end of World War II. But after the end of World War II, the most serious attempt that was made to weaponize this kind of a lethal compound was done by Iraq. And this was highlighted by the Organization for Prevention of Chemical Weapons. Now, as far as the Chemical Weapon Convention is concerned, which actually makes these or weaponization of these compounds as illegal, ricin is listed in schedule, or it is listed as a Schedule 1 toxin in the Chemical Weapons Convention. So this ricin has the same potential, same lethality as other famous chemical weapon systems. For example, sarin gas, which is a nerve agent, blister agent like mustard gas, and ricin, they are all mentioned in the Schedule 1 of the Chemical Weapons Convention. So right now it is illegal for any country trying to weaponize this kind of a nerve agent, this kind of a lethal compound. Now, the most famous instances where this poison has been used is that of a killing of a Bulgarian journalist, which was done in 1978. Similarly, in pop culture, in many movies and famous TV shows, it has been multiple times it has been showed that ricin was used as an agent to kill someone. The most famous example that I can recall of is the TV show called as Breaking Bad, where the protagonist Walter White uses this to kill his enemies. So this is the ricin compound he's holding. Actually, it is shown that he is using the ricin compound. Now, there have been several instances where individuals who might possess castor beans, they are trying to isolate ricin from it at their homes. And there have been many instances where people have also tried to creatively use this compound in order to kill someone by sending letters which is laced with ricin powder. But it is unlikely that you might kill someone from ricin by infesting it in the letter, because they are unlikely to be absorbed in your body from the skin, right? So please do not try this at home. This is very lethal. This was just for your information related purposes. Now, before we try to solve the practice question, I have a very important announcement that I need to make. This announcement actually concerns with the P2I foundation batches. Now, the kind of chemical compound or the kind of substance that we understood today is important from multiple subjects. Most importantly, it is important from science and tech. Now, students who are coming from humanities background, it is quite natural for you to face challenges in science and tech. One of the ways in which you can address this challenge is to take admissions in our resolution batches that are called as P2I foundation batches. The word P2I, it means from prelims to mains to interview, everything will be covered. So GS, CSAT, everything will be covered in these batches, and we have separate batches for students who are looking to give exams in 2027 and in 2028. But before you make admissions or before you make the payment, please remember one thing, that if you use the code ATS Live, ATS is anti-terrorist code, ATS Live, you'll get maximum discounts on all the courses, including P2I foundation courses, including optional courses, and you'll get discounts up to 7,000 rupees. So save your and your parents' hard-earned money and use the code ATS Live. Okay. Now, for your understanding of this topic that we understood in our today's discussion. Please try to solve this practice question. This has been curated exactly on the lines of UPSC pattern, and do let me know the correct answer of this question in the comment section, and if you get it right, you'll get a thumbs up from my side. Before ending this video, once again let me remind it to you, the notes of this session will be available on this particular Telegram channel, ATS Live. Please learn to thrive with ATS Live. And if you have problems in finding this channel, you can always scan this QR code. So this is all from my side for tonight. Please have a very good night. We'll see each other again tomorrow.